And we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by these fine fellows from Butterflies, which we're about to talk about. Josh Boyer.
Hello.
And Ryan McCoy.
Hello. Greetings.
Hello. So give people an idea of what Butterflies is about if they're not familiar yet.
You'd like us to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Butterflies, independent film. That's based off of a novel, young adult novel called Party, that was published back in 2010, written by Tom Levine. And that's it. You want to peel the next layer of the onion? You know what I mean? That's
yeah. You don't want to give too much away of the movie, but
right. Directed and written and produced by myself. I adapted the screenplay based off of the novel. I did the adaptation myself, and in the correspondence of the adaptation, the title got changed to Butterflies. And then it's directed by Kevin Stevenson, directed and shot, DP'd by him. I think this was his 4th or 5th feature film. He's been in the independent circuit as well. I found him and the lead actress, Sarah Cat Bellamy. I found both of them by a film they collaborated together called Baby Girl, which came out, I think, 2018-19. So that's how I found them, and then reached out to them, and we kind of started the process, you know what I mean? Piece by piece. Yeah. First, I had reached out to the author and gotten the rights and yada, yada. And that's, just.
So did you read the book and thought, this is something I would like to have made into a movie?
I actually found the author. So you're an internet person. You're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Gary V, I think, his work that he's been doing as a documenting and kind of vlogging and that kind of thing. Been doing it for quite a while. Businessman out of New York. When COVID hit, he started doing a live show on his YouTube, bringing guests in, stuff like that. And Tom Levine was one of his guests on there, and I saw Tom on there, and you can go back and see the episode, And basically, Tom was. I identified with him being a writer, just similar age bracket and stuff like that, just connected. And he was giving his email out. And so I reached out to him. We had a very good conversation. He lives in Phoenix. I'm in Los Angeles. And I just said, after just connecting just in spirit, I said, send me whatever manuscript, whatever book you've ever written that you just thought would make the best film. And so he emailed me PDF of Party. I went in blind, so I didn't read a back cover. I had no idea what it was. I just opened it just to look at it. And the very first sentence in the book is the first line of dialogue, essentially, that Beckett gives in front of the church. I'm the girl nobody knows until she commits suicide, and then everybody's had a class with her, right? Mm-hmm. That's the opening line of the book, okay? And it hooked me right away. We can get deeper into the reasons for that, but I read the manuscript within 24 hours. I remember it was a weekend. I got it Friday, read it, called him Saturday, said, I don't have any money right now, but I have one investor in mind. I think I can get some, you know what I mean? I think I can do the movie for, this. I mean, we're talking crazy small amount. And so he said, essentially, yeah, great. And, this whole thing, the entire process, this entire film, and anybody, I mean, we're a year away from this film being released to the public. And I promise you, the main thing that everybody's going to hear from anybody that you ask about the film, about the entire process, is that this entire film is nothing more than a collaboration of trust, right? Amongst each other, in that everybody leaned upon anybody else at any given moment. You know what I mean? Maybe not all at the same time or whatever, but like it was a spiral in terms of how this film actively was created, you know what I mean? The process of it and the actual shooting of it and everything with it. So like, and beginning from very step one, the author, you know what I mean? Some random stranger, I have a horror background, but not a background in drama, right? trusting me to deliver the film, the investors who, finally took a chance on me, just a lot of trust going on, so.
So you mentioned Kevin has done 4 or 5 features before. What's your background in filmmaking?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you've heard of it, but my biggest notch on the belt is a found footage horror film I wrote and produced maybe 11 years ago now, called Evidence. And that's a whole long story in and of itself. But I've been in Los Angeles, Josh and I both, for about 12 years, just doing the grind of Los Angeles. But about 4 or 5 years ago, kind of saw a white space and opening in the digital world and didn't know a lot about it. So just began diving into it and learning, YouTube channel creating. And just as I was progressively learning and doing things, just kind of self-documenting the entire process really on my YouTube channel and anywhere else, and just kind of kept progressing through that,
Yeah. So how did the
COVID
connection
changed everything, right? For everybody.
Oh yeah, of course.
People either jumped or they held back, So I put the gas down even as hard, even harder. So
yeah, before COVID, because I started the show in 2006 and we were just, audio podcast. And then during COVID, that's I never even actually heard of Zoom before that, but that's why, we started doing the video, which a lot of people have since.
Yeah, it's obviously changed everything. So, but that's the kind of story of how, what's gotten us to this point. And then just great care. Kevin also edited the film himself. So great care in terms of post-production, the entire process of that. Very meticulous, him, still nurturing it and all of us being open to ideas and not, necessarily trying to bash anything, just trying to make the best piece possible for, we came together for a purpose, for a reason to tell this film. So.
And Josh, what's your connection and how long have you guys known each other and worked together?
We worked together about 10 years ago. And then I've always been, my background was more in stunt work and acting. And then he was a writer. He was doing a movie back when we were working a job 10 years ago. And of course, during COVID, like we've always been friends and always worked on stuff. And then he brought me in and we just started shooting. It was a year and 2 days ago when we started shooting Butterflies.
Yeah.
So, and it was like one of those where that was when the lockdown in LA was like about to start. And I was like, hell yeah. And like a month before that, left the job I was at and I was like, let's do it. So it was basically Ryan's right-hand man.
They say if you stick around me for long enough, I will make you leave everything and follow me. I'm like a cult leader. Can't you tell?
Yeah. Well, I thought you kind of looked like CM Punk, the wrestler who used to kind of do a cult leader kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Might be the hoodie and stuff. But so how about the director, Kevin? Did you know him before the movie? No.
Yeah. And here's how I found Kevin. Sorry, I apologize for any construction going on in the background. The free service movie service Tubi, streaming service. So the one and only time I've ever opened that platform and the only product I've ever watched on it, I was just scrolling through and saw the poster art for Kevin's film Baby Girl. Having no idea, but just great poster art that drew me into it. And then I've just been watching the market in terms of film ever since like the mid 90s and pay attention and watching everything. And in doing that, you pick up little cues, little things that, you find hidden gems, you know what I mean? You can see stuff that maybe the regular market can't. And when I looked at Baby Girl on IMDb, I mean, it had like a 2.3, 2.5 rating out of 10. I said, okay, well, this has got to be either horrible, so bad that it's like I will get enjoyment out of watching it, or people just completely miss the mark.
Which happens a lot, especially with independent films.
Exactly. If it's like 5 out of 10, I'm not interested. A 2 out of 10, you got to work. Something's got to be in it for it to be that, right? It's got to either offend people or something. And so that's why I watched it. And so Kevin, again, didn't write that screenplay, didn't write that script, okay? Just directed and DP'd, okay? And it's set in LA. Cat Bellamy's the lead in it again. It's urban. It's you know, has this texture that that caught my eye, a youthful kind of connection, right? The film is the film, you know, say what you will about the story and the script and everything like that. I can see why people downvoted or gave it that. But if you just focus on it from the director standpoint and the cinematography, the cinematography's urban, I mean, great. Kevin is a phenomenal cameraman, right? And lighter and DP. But then beyond that, as a director, I saw whatever, regardless of this writing of the scene, the completion of the scene, I saw every scene, saw a beginning, middle, and an end. I saw space, I saw room to let the actors breathe and act, space, pauses in the dialogue, and you know what I mean? Just I saw direction, you know, really great performances by relatively unknown, you know what I mean, actors. So seeing all that, right, that maybe I don't think a lot of people can see, and then my confidence in my ability to structure a very well written screenplay, right, based off of great material, because I had read Amazon book reviews about Tom's, you know, it's been out for over 10 years. It has a real fan base. I thought if I could give him, I combine all those things, right, those elements, there you go. So you know, it's like poof, I think it worked. We got all the right elements in there, and you know.
Yeah, what you said about him as a director is important for Butterflies because it's very dialogue driven, and you know, it's a lot of different characters, and it has to look like these are people that have been around each other, and also the dialogue has to look real.
Yeah, and can I give an example of why? By the way, watching Kevin work as a director, Kevin's one of the, I mean, Kevin will, mark my words, be known as one of the greatest, like, film director, like a Fincher, like a Tony Scott. I mean, he is a technical master on set. And here's an example. People like, what does a director do, right? A lot of people don't know that. So the scene about 14 minutes in, right, with Morgan, and she comes home and her parents are there, and the mom's baking cookies and dad's watching TV, right? And she's like, what's the fuss? Okay, on paper, I'll show you you can go and watch the table read is on my YouTube page, right? So just the script, the dialogue's there, but like whatever, the scene's there, the dialogue's there, it has its beginning, middle, and end, you know, the bones of it are there. But then we get on set and Kevin's like, all right, ready to shoot. And he starts coming with these ideas. All right, well, what's the motivation? What do we bring in? Well, what if we start with presents? Can we get presents? So we're buying wrapping paper, bringing boxes, you know what I mean? The day of, you know, going into that night, blah, 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 the fractions. And then, oh, let's get some smoke. Let's get some ambience in here. What's the reasoning behind the ambience? Well, maybe she's burning cookies. Maybe, can we get a tray? Like if you look, you can't really see cookies on the thing, but it doesn't matter. It's like all of these elements, including the actual filming. Again, go to our YouTube channel. There's a 5-minute, you'll watch 5 minutes of him directing that scene, you know what I mean, between the actors, pushing them, motivating them, letting them go, not, you know, just mixing like a good director should, getting it in the moment. And then look at the scene now completed with all those elements in, and compare it with what's on page, and you'll see that Kevin added at least a dozen, if not more, elements to that entire scene, all for the same reason, the same core element that are there to help provide and drive the narrative. But like, that's just one example in that film of what Kevin did. And this, I mean, that's all real, documented on our YouTube. Like anybody else can go and study this and come to the same conclusion if they have any, you know, semi knowledge of film. But
well, you said a lot of people actually don't know what a director. I think a lot of people think the director really is the DP, just shooting the film.
They think that, or they think it's like the producer, you know what I mean, like the absolute one in charge.
Right.
It's and that kind of goes along, I feel like, with this whole magic, you know, that has existed between all films, Hollywood and not. Sorry, I'm throwing some. between that and the public, you know what I mean? Like the public has been showcased this stage, this dance of like, it's impossible or nearly impossible. You know, you need a magic break or luck to golden opportunity. Like, no, man, go and watch. It's just massively hard work, massive commitment, physical work, mental commitment, like focus, collaboration. It's the most beautiful process that exists and is literally able to like remove any like outside influences or decrees or anything like that. And a group of human beings come together for one singular thing to like try to show their feelings. Are you serious? It's beautiful, you know? So like, I just want the world to know that that's what they are, you know, and stop having their expectations so high and what they want to be delivered, right? In terms of the frosting, and then give them the knowledge of the actual work that goes into it, and not 80,000 dudes sitting in front of a computer rendering graphics. You know what I mean? The physical work of trying to tell a story through a visual medium, you know?
So you said, you know, the first line in the book, and you were hooked right away. And then you said, you know, it was personal to you, which I actually had in my notes. I assume maybe there was a personal connection there. So is that something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I'm very open with the whole story of it. I think the story elevates the film, and you can almost see how it played out, you know, documented very well. But so the opening line, right, of the book is the same as Beckett's opening line in front of the church. The very second line she says in the film is like my first line of the film, of the book, right? Because what happened a year ago, last year, at the end of last year, was I've lived a very solitary life in terms of inside my head, okay? And the last 4 or 5 years has been extremely well documented of me just trying to find answers after a single moment event that I can point back to, right? About 4.5 years ago. So, I mean, I've written books about this, podcasts, like, I mean, everything, right? I'm very, just never with the answers, just saying this happened to me and my life has completely changed since then. And I've become an active, you know, searching for knowledge. Well, at the end of last year, right? It just, I mean, again, it's been documented, it's whatever, but it was telling me, the voice inside was telling me that my completion to this existence in life was to end it all, right? And essentially go up on top of a mountain. I was going to leap off of it after throwing a knife into my gut, you know, life insurance taken out. I already worked in life insurance, so I know how to hide it. I know how it works to get that, you know, $250K, because I have a son that, you know, in my head, literally, this is what I was doing. I was saying, what story can I leave behind for my son so it doesn't fuck up his life? So it motivates him to be great, because I know how great he can be. In hindsight, that's the most ridiculous thinking ever, right? But I needed to go through that shadow, to go through that water, to go through that you know, gut-wrenching feeling and emotion and everything, with faith, with nothing else but faith in myself, right? And an openness to the universe, okay, directing me and being open to that, and overcame all that, and didn't end up, you know, following through with it, but was already in active pre-production for this film called Party, you know what I mean? That I wasn't even it wasn't even on my radar. This is going to be like my sophomore film. Wasn't even kind of there, was always in the background. And all of a sudden I personally went through this experience, and that's when I took that feeling of knowing, like, this is it, I'm done, right? Taking that feeling and interjecting it into that story, because it was already there from the first line, right? And after I had done that, that's when I was like, this is Butterflies instead. And I asked Kevin, and he was like, yeah, it's a better title. Like, I didn't come up with the title and then try to change it. You know what I mean? I just bared my soul into the screenplay, and it changed itself. It morphed into like the Butterflies, you know. And then it became fine tuning and drilling into that message and that story. And if you watch the film, I mean, I can sit next to you and show you the entire film actually all takes place inside of Beckett's head. The film is me. Each one of those characters are a different representation.
I was just going to say, is Beckett the one that you'd feel connected to, or is it really all the characters? Because I would assume all of them have different, traits for yourself.
He basically brings all the voices in her head together into this party, to work it out, just to you know what I mean, just to go there, to go into the darkness, not necessarily looking for one answer or another, but just knowing she needs to bring it all together. She needs to go there to figure out what to do, which is to end her life or not, right?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful ending. It's a very uplifting ending. It's you know what I mean? It's a positive. The message is there, is clear. And
there's no real antagonist in the movie. Like, nobody's perfect in the movie, so it's not like they're all, saints or anything, but there's really no villain in the movie.
Well, in the book, if you read the book, you'll see all of the moments that the characters are speaking to the camera are done in voiceover in the book, right? Inside the character's head. And when Kevin and I were in it, we were originally going to do voiceover for everything. Actually, the first adaptation had all that, but we instead said, well, what if we have them speak directly to the camera, right? Well, that raises the technical level of everything, the actors, and you know what I mean, the timing and stuff like that. These are non-professional, right? Bullshit, whatever actors. But we went with it, we committed with it. And then once we noticed we were doing it, once we kind of saw in rehearsals that was happening, and I was interjecting myself, that's me speaking to the world. When those kids are speaking to the camera, when Jordy is the actor, what's his name? There's Max and Brent is the character, right? Max and Brent, right? The skateboards, they open the film. When they're sitting there after they're eating the falafels and he's eating, and Brent's looking at the camera, he's like, we dare you, we dare you. That's me, okay, saying to the world, I dare you to look into the mirror. I dare you to go where I went. Here I am, I'm showing, you know what I mean, here are my scars, I'm bearing my wounds, right? But with the knowledge and knowing and understanding that life is a cycle, okay, that there is no ending to it. It's just forging through and transmuting and right and forging and that's me. And I wrote it at the time, very, it seems a little bit harsh, but that's just where I come from. Is I'm willing to bear all of the pain that I've suffered and endured throughout this entire lifetime, in just the sheer hope that one child, one single person, just hits and alters their life and changes the other way. Because I know the strength and the promise and the ability within inside every single human being. And I've been shown it so many times by all of these humans around me that I have given myself no other option other than to blindly pursue this effort of trying to connect with as many other humans as I can and shake them to that same realization, right? So obviously I'm doing it through my art, through writing is my kind of main thing, but then through a visual medium, there's no greater way to impact a human being than if you're able to sit them down and get their attention and feed them a story like that. It will impact, it will hit them, it will resonate in some level, you know what I mean? Fuck you, no, that's dumb, suicide. Well, that's fear, that's a response at least, right? Or, oh my God, you saved me, thank you so much. That's another response, just levels the same thing. Instead of, oh, they didn't say the catch line I wanted. Like, do you want me to throw this chair through the wall? Like, you see the frustration I've had as a filmmaker living in Los Angeles for over a decade now, where I'm surrounded surrounded by the lack of integrity. You know what I'm saying? And just by choice of, not just by God-given talent of what I was pushed into in terms of what to navigate and do with my life, right? I'm automatically lumped into that group, right? And anything that I do and produce is it's a movie. I'm going to look at it through these eyes that Hollywood have taught me how to watch film through. They have misguided our audience, right, for 70 years. And so there has to be a 0 point, and I am that, you know. And from this moment forward, I promise you, film will change forever. And it's starting right here in Los Angeles, the birthplace of them, you know.
Did you
I mean, you can see he's not saying anything. If Kevin were here, he'd be agreeing as well. This is why we've come together. We're a very tight-knit unit, and there's a reason we need to be so tight-knit, is we're trying to stand tall, you know.
Did you explain that to the actors, like why they're doing like a monologue to the camera?
Yeah, I mean, I told you, like, we can, bro, magic happened on that set. Ask them, ask the right ones, and they'll be like, yeah. Ask the crew. Everybody experienced something like, you know what I mean, out of normal. Kat, Kat's the scene where Kat does on the pier.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there. I couldn't be there on the pier, right? I recorded a video of myself earlier that day on my phone and gave it to her before that scene. Right? That's all the inspiration she needed.
It was also December last year. I mean, this is when COVID in LA was like, and we all came together and kind of had like, this was what, 2.5 weeks in December, right before lockdown, and everybody was reaching for something. You know what I mean?
Last year or the year before? Last year.
No, 2020, man.
Yeah. So it was a hard time for everybody mentally and physically, you know, how at that mindset. There's something new to the world where everybody was just kind of in panic mode of like, what is happening right now? And then us idiots go out and film a movie in the middle of Los Angeles, you know, like when nothing was being filmed.
Yeah. Because I was in LA 2 years ago this week, actually, filming my first feature, and it's been on hold because of COVID and everything. But the last year, yeah, because my co-host is Trista, and she can't be here tonight, but she's an actress in LA, and I know last year was really rough for her, you know, as a full-time actress.
This year's even worse.
Yeah, it's been a whole new game now. I mean, whatever you did before, it's just over, and everybody's been adapting. Unless you are one of the top, unless you're, Ryan Reynolds or Tom Cruise, everybody else is like down here, like, what is going on? I mean, with the new restrictions and everything, like that's
what a lot of my independent filmmaker friends, you know, say. The restrictions, like if you're a big budget movie, you can afford to have, you know, all these things on set. But if you have a small budget, it's just
testing kits
impossible.
Like
I haven't, but yeah.
They come in boxes like this, right? 250, 300 of them or something. Each one of them costs $100 and something, right? And, you know what I mean? And we know, right? Their set PAs are working universal parent, you know what I mean? Posting pictures on their Instagram or stories or whatever, like as if it's like a joke, and whatever it is, what it is. But it's like, I'm just seeing dollar signs and being like, how are we ever able, you know what I mean? So this is why, and again, if you've been living in LA, if you've been seeing this, like there's a reason, like a mass exodus of talented artists have left Los Angeles and gone back home or gone to find greener pastures. Like
besides the five of us, like Brian, Kevin, me, you, like almost everybody I knew that was an actor or writing, they're gone.
And because as you're seeing, right, we're all seeing everything can be done anywhere now.
Yeah.
You know, and my belief also is like, I love Los Angeles. I don't know what it's turned into now. But I also feel that my audience, like you can literally throw us in the middle of any, I'll speak for this country, this only country I know, you can throw us anywhere, right? And we'll find a story. There's a story in anybody. as long as you're telling it and storing it properly. And I think there are stories in this country, just in this land that you can touch. I think there are so many stories, hidden stories that if I mean, have you ever met a person and they just happen to like tell their story and you're like, I can't believe that you exist or you did whatever, you know? So many people have so many of the stories. I want to find those, you know what I mean? I want to dig through those. And I'm so non-binary or absolutely binary when it comes to translating the material into a screenplay format, you know.
It was just ironic too, because Tom's book party, the day he contacted him was the day his 10-year, he just got the book back.
It was like, yeah,
oh, really?
It was literally like within a couple of days of that, his 10-year contract ending. We were like, so it was very convenient on the timing.
Yeah. You mentioned you weren't there for the pier scene. What was it like to watch when you saw like after they filmed it?
I mean, not very good. No, it was difficult. It came to we had to go through a couple passes of the edit of the scene. Kevin did.
Yeah, there's a lot of
to capture the emotion of it. Right, Kat completely delivered. We just had some difficulty in terms of just lighting, and I mean, it was 300 feet out, you know what I mean, pier out there. I was
freezing cold too.
Freezing cold, yeah. So like the scene as a whole turns out perfect. And we also had the original assembly edit, and in the script also, it wasn't that rich. That was Kevin adding a lot of that. And in the original edit and in the script, that scene happens before the 20-minute mark. So then in the edit, we put it, you know, later in the film it worked for. There was just, again, a lot of work, you know, nurturing to it. But I was there on set. I just didn't go to the pier when
right.
I think I paid everybody for that day.
You mentioned rehearsals, and something I took down in my notes is everyone seems like, which is important when you have like an ensemble cast, that everyone looks like, that they know each other and they're comfortable with each other. Was that part of the rehearsals, just to get everyone like, they seem like they're friends?
For sure that it was a lot of reasons.
The boys meshed really well, really fast.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of reasons. I think for that, because there was a big concern was the five boys, right, as we call them, because they're all always together, essentially, kind of, right? And to like hit that high school boy, I mean, that's a very, that's a very like, people have lived that, you know what I mean? They can spot if it's fake pretty easily, pretty quickly. So that was a concern. So it's bringing them together for that. But also, here's another, I'm telling you, this is all praise to Kevin. Every single person that's cast or who the character they play was not who they auditioned for.
Yeah.
So
really?
Think about that.
There's some
Kevin literally, and I wasn't even here. I didn't care. I was like, cast whoever you want, bro. I don't care. I'm good. Kevin literally rearranged the entire casting of everybody in the film. I think that's how well he knew or just understood the characters and then was able to see how, where, who would,
I think his ability to envision long term for the film. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking, they look great for this scene, but he had a whole character arc for everybody. And like you said, when the lady brought him in the audition and stuff, he literally was moving them. Oh no, you're not playing him, you're playing him. And then we're like, oh wow. We were playing I was playing checkers and he was playing chess, basically. Like I learned a lot just watching him.
You said, you're a year away from the movie, people seeing it. So what are the plans for Butterflies?
We're going to hit festivals next year, continue with talking about it.
And I say next year, which is really a month from now. So that's, is that
how about in a
month
year?
Or is it,
we want to release it probably, as close to the fourth quarter next year, because Christmas theme and just tying with that.
Right.
If you when we were filming it a year ago, I was documenting on TikTok and posting a lot of TikToks, and we had a few of those blow up. And the hashtag we created for the film is at millions of views now. And so I want to, again, all I care about is getting this message into to teenagers of my country's only, I haven't been really anywhere else in the world, so I can't put myself or think of that, but there's a lot of people in this country and not, right? Teenagers. I don't care about parents. I don't care about anybody. I only care about teenagers watching this film. So every single move I make is going to be with that intent in mind, you know? And this was even before. That's why I was documenting on TikTok and showing that. So my hope is that by continuing to be live here, hello, right, talking about it for another year, again, in space to breathe, you know what I mean? Not trying to force anything to get what? A return on investment. This is beyond any return on, you know, a monetary return on investment. So like, just continue to try to reach them so that, I mean, I know that they will see the truth in this. You know what I'm saying? I know they will feel that it was made for them. At least I'm really, really hoping that they feel that connection.
Have you had experiences before with festivals? Like, have you had films in festivals?
The horror film I did some festivals all over. And then in terms of being present at, yes, I've been at quite a few festivals. Sundance a few times. And yeah, but we just submitted to Phoenix, next one, which is Tom's hometown.
Oh, that's good.
Hopefully, yeah. Author, so that would be great. And yeah, that's our plan for that. And we already have distribution offers kind of coming in. And so again, navigating those waters with this, again, no more perfect. You're gonna reach the target demo. Do you even know the target? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
Right.
So negotiating that kind of stuff. But just in these early talks, everybody feels that you know, a later release for next year is better because of the Christmas. I mean, we jumped in on the Christmas thing.
Yeah, that was all.
No, that works. It was weird because when you got the Christmas music that plays, you know, in the score, and you think of it as Christmas music, but it really adds a lot of tension.
The name drop real quick. That music was done by Nicola Enatucci, and she is my musical muse. She is one of the most baddest bitches in the world. And when it comes to musical composing, and she and I have done a few pieces together, and she created that entire piece on herself with only very simple direction by me. It was, I just gave her the song. I don't even think I know her music. So she's called Resin. If you look her up on Spotify or SoundCloud, she is incredible. I literally just told her the themes, right? Like suicide, Christmas, and Carol of the Bells or whatever, you know what I mean? And gave her a rough time length. I mean, she cut the music, the original teaser trailer, and then we cut the footage to it. I mean, and then we used it throughout the film. So anyway, I just want to give a shout out to her. She's I never thought of that particular music, like having that feeling, but it does. It's kind of an uneasy feeling. To my head, bro. Like things are building up, like, you know, everything's gonna what's gonna happen here. So, yeah. And the trailer actually is great with the same song. Yeah,
let's say music. So did you know any of the cast beforehand?
Yeah, well, Kevin knew Kat. That they've worked together, counting by 4 times now. That was their third, I think. And then a couple of them we had met before, like during the summer of last year. And then Savannah, Mike. Again, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see that little angel when she was 15. She was in a short film that I directed and we produced together like 6 years ago or something. Yeah, I guess it would be. She has brunette hair. Yeah, so I'd known her for a while, and I hadn't even looked at her. I didn't know she had dyed her hair blonde. I was thinking about her for maybe a different role or something like that, but just kind of look. That's a large cast to fill. That's a lot of kids. and she is youthful, just age wise, So like I was going to that, and I opened up her IMDb. There she is, blonde, and I was on the phone with Tom, the author, and we both looked her up at the same time, and he was like, "She's perfect for Ashley," and I was like, "She's perfect for Ashley." So again,
has Tom seen the finished movie?
yes, and he very much approves. He thinks it's very cool. He's doing some really cool stuff, really cool stuff with his novel, because he's kind of relaunched it since he reacquired the rights. I don't know if he published it on his own or whatever, but he's got like comic books now. He's doing like, he's wanting to expand on these characters and kind of capitalize on that. I mean, we looked in the same kind of demo. You remember being a teenager in the 90s? Like, it was fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
I graduated in 94. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like, capture that kind of essence, or at least show that to the youth today. I think, you know what I mean? Like, where are they seeing that? Like, they're being told it from their parents, you know what I mean?
Right.
But,
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that does do the nostalgia, it's just like, hey, here's a Rubik's Cube, and here's like stuff, but it's not necessarily really the feeling of that time.
Again,
and you don't really see a lot of 90s. It's mostly 80s nostalgia.
Yeah, it's all the frosting of those days, not the real essence of it, the feeling of what it was. So yeah.
It's just nonstop, the music and just like things and Zubaz pants or something, but not the actual how you actually felt it during the time. It was a very specific time. Are you actually from LA, or did you move to LA?
No, I'm actually, speaking of the 90s, I'm from Everett, Washington, just north of Seattle. And so,
Oh, well, during the 90s, there was some music that came out of that area.
Now you see where all the hood, the only thing that's missing is my flannel, right? But that, I try to stay with the times.
I still wear flannel. Sometimes people say I look like 90s, but
jealous.
Yeah. Plus, it's cold here. I'm in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I don't know how to ride a skateboard though.
I don't either.
I started to learn more because we kind of had it put in the film, right? And the actors, I think, didn't really know, and they had to practice. So we had a lot of skateboards.
Why do we end up having a skateboard scene in every one?
Oh, that was Kevin again. Because he just wanted skateboards, like kind of keep with the town.
We just shot in Florida, and then one of the main characters, a girl, she skateboards in it. And I guess we do open up butterflies to Jordy and them skateboarding.
So what was the decision? When was the decision to go to LA, and how was the transition going from Washington to LA?
I made a film, my first film right out of film school. I went to Art Institute in Seattle, which doesn't exist anymore. The institute, I don't know. The city might still do that. Made it up there in Seattle, and then it got into a festival here in LA. And so I came down here for that. I knew one person, like a friend of a friend, like my brother's friend in high school, his little brother like lived in LA. So, that one connection. And it's everybody who's moved here. I say this, and it's true. Los Angeles is a magnet. Okay. Like, and it's a magnet for faster thinking minds, or quicker, broader mind. I don't know what to say, but it is a magnet, right? I think maybe a magnet for people who want to make change, have this internal drive to like do something, be something, right? Good intentions. Everybody moves to Los Angeles with good intentions, thinking that's the gateway for them to be able to do all these nice things, So like, if you're one of those type of people and you literally step foot in the city of Los Angeles, especially in some of the Hollywood or Santa Monica or Beverly Hills or the beach, anything like that, it's mesmerizing. It's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. The land itself is strengthening, you know what I mean? Has history. Like, the city was just founded not like with bad intentions, just with greedy intentions from the get. You know what I mean? Like literally the aqueducts, like how the water was brought to this place of land was done through corruption, you know? So what do you expect the entire city to do? But so, you know, yeah, once you're here and you're one of those people, you come here. And that's why LA is filled with so much suffering. You know, people either die, kill themselves, you know, do something, cry, go back home. Literally, Joshua and I have had 2 people now that we know personally, very, very close to us, that have been in Los Angeles for years, whose mothers, they're grown-ass men, whose mothers have come to pick them up and take them back home. That's how broken, that's how much the city will break you. And whether you're in the industry or not, it affects everyone. Everyone. I mean, there's fucking billboards the size of buildings for the most ridiculous films that have ever been created in history of film. Like, they're making the stupidest movies that have ever been made in the history of cinema right now, in this very time, right? And they've never had bigger posters of it. Am I the only person who is seeing this?
I'm in Massachusetts, so I was only there a couple of times, so I don't know.
Okay, you're fortunate, because like there are millions of people. I drive, you know, an hour here on the 405 every day to come to meet here, you know what I mean? And that's just all I see. That's all that's there.
Makes me think of They Live.
Dude, 100%. Yeah. Why do you think all these people are like bouncing out? But so yeah, that's, you know, it has been by, you know, the skin of my teeth that I'm still here and have survived LA. And I am one of the very few who decided to stick around to this point. But that's, I'm realizing now is soon at its end as well. There is no hope. Like it is, you know.
I came from Pennsylvania, from Pittsburgh University. I think 12 of us moved out here and nobody's left but me. Everybody has, I mean, most time what they say, after if you survive the first 2 years, you have a good chance. I think 8 people moved home the first year. Like it, you know, like you said, it's not an easy city. It's pretty brutal. You know, especially because your head's so full of the
right.
You know,
kind of the cliche, you know, you're gonna go out there and become a movie star or whatever. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is really, really hard.
Not only that, it's impossible unless you want to sell your soul. Like literally, you know what I mean? And by sell your soul, I mean like sign with a major agency. You know what I mean? Like they control it all, but they don't. You can't control art or an art form. It's just an art form. You know, it's just an expression, you know, like the music industry, right? Tried to control all of music. Mm-hmm. Can't contain art. It will find a way, right? Jurassic Park.
Right. So obviously butterflies is your main thing, but are you guys working on anything currently?
Yeah, lots, as much as we can. We shot a second project, kind of the same team, little variations on it. Yeah. He mentioned it, project that we shot in Florida called Bugs that I had wrote 6 years ago and continued to kind of morph and do its thing. Completely different genre, completely different location, area, space, same presence of theme, same kind of dirtiness, if you will, of those themes, you know what I mean? Not trying to hide or soften or anything, and also not trying to have any opinion on it, just speaking about it and just putting it in the story, you know. That, trying to do another one, and then I mean, yeah, we yes, with lots of projects. Butterflies was definitely that first domino that hit that you know, I believe is just going to cascade down. I've been the first time I had a film that hit right everyone's radar, I had nothing else. And I thought like, oh, that's all you need. You just need to make it.
You
right?
get it? Yeah.
And that crashed hard.
Would you say the first thing they asked you, well, what else do you got?
Yeah.
And you were like,
So this time I have like, you know, I'm more than prepared. And I thought it was other people that were going to be making, or I was going to, oh no, it turns out we're just all going to funnel through here, which is cool, you know, because, you know, I'm excited for that.
Yeah. So you said it's a different genre. What is Bugs?
Horror again, but like more of like authentic real horror in terms of like a Hitchcock or Kubrick or things of that. I mean, it's inspired by The Birds, and
we had an animal wrangler, Jules. He's amazing. Works on all major sets. We had
so real bug, right? We're not CGing anything.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Snakes,
actual giant bugs, cool, that are there, always present.
Really weird. You said I have a couple flies flying, and it's I don't know why there's flies in the middle of winter here in Massachusetts.
Again, but that is that project that project is in like a homeostasis period right now, because when we got back, we shot in Florida, South Florida, Miami, and the Keys, and the Everglades. Like, we shot all over Florida, right? Downtown, everywhere. And when we got back and we started putting it together, we really loved everything that we had. And because I've had this story for so long, it's gone through several iterations. First, it took place in Los Angeles and it was here, and then it was on a boat, and then Florida parts, you know what I mean? There's so much story that still revolve around the same thing that I don't know, there might be a chance if we can, if somebody finds, if we find the right inspiration or mode to move it that way, there might be an opportunity to expand what we shot into more material, you know what I mean? Whether that be more films, or we've never done a series. I don't aim for series or TV really ever, but like there's still a way, I think, to connect that message and get it across. If you keep it limited, short, contained, you're not trying to repeat seasons, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you just need a little bit more time to fully tell your whole story. I get that, so that's kind of where
like an 8-hour story as opposed to
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that.
And on a practical level, I've been told a few times by independent filmmakers that the streaming sites like series because it's more content for their platform.
I mean, it makes sense. I don't really know. Well, I don't know, the streaming game, it's like, I don't know. I try not to really put too much energy into that, because I want to build my own OTT, right? That's my goal. So like, whatever happens, like, that's where I'm going to go eventually. So whatever dance I need to play until that point, okay. So like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another thing from people I know. Not that long ago, Amazon was pretty good for independent films to stream on, but now it's.
Well, Amazon was open to anybody until like a couple months ago, and now they're changing the game because they were so flooded with everybody that's shooting anything.
Yeah, they're so short-minded. Everybody's so maybe Netflix is actually the only one that's playing a long game. I think Netflix is gonna win it all. But Amazon, right, in their mad rush to try to beat Netflix's subscription numbers, right, because that's kind of the only thing they share, they opened a portal so that anybody could get their film on Amazon, right? And then they did exactly what he said, and now what does the consumer think of Amazon? It's just riddled with garbage. So Amazon now has cut that off and made it basically just as hard to get as to get onto Netflix. So now they like close off, and now they're going to start weeding out. But it's like, I don't know, man. But their problem is that their original content is still held under they're still trying to keep a creative control over it. It's still from the studio heads down. That's why their original content is not dropping as many bombs as Netflix is. Because what's Netflix doing? Grabbing fantastic filmmakers from big studios or tiny independent, like, because they know the market, and giving them lots of money and full creative freedom, or as much creative freedom as you'll find anywhere else in the studio realm, right? And what are you getting from that? I mean, some of these great directors, like, I mean, some of their best content, or at least some of the best content they've done in 15 years.
I mean, taking away censorship, really, because you have to, it's like, growing up, we had HBO and Showtime where like people could swear. No one really watched. Does anybody watch like live 8 o'clock shows anymore?
No, I mean,
you know what what I mean? Like, but like now with Netflix and Amazon, there's no, literally you can say, do whatever you want, you know.
Yeah.
It's completely changed since we were young, younger, I guess we'll go with that.
Yeah, it is weird. I remember, you wanted to be home a certain time or try to set the VCR, which wouldn't always work out very well. It's kind of a 50-50 if it would work out, but I can't even now. It's like crazy to even think, oh, I've got to be home at 8 o'clock on Monday to watch something or other. Like,
I remember the lineup, man. I'm like Tuesday, Wednesdays, like 8 to 10 o'clock. They had all the new series, half-hour shows, but like that's completely gone and lost forever. Like that.
Yeah, I don't even know what channel some things are that I watch. I just have them recorded on DVR and then I watch them whenever I want to.
So that's my theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is, I guess this will explain my actions of the last 5 years or whatever. Is again kind of seeing this kind of coming or formulating, not maybe knowing exactly where it's going to go, but kind of a direction. Like, very soon the middleman is going to be completely erased, and it is going to be from artist to community, right? Mm-hmm. And whether that community is 100 people or 1,000 people or 100,000 people or 1,000,000 people, it's not going to make any difference to every member of that community or to the one member whose community it is, because to them it's always going to be the biggest community that they've ever had, and to the community they're always going to love the creator because they're the ones that deciding to follow him. They're not being told you have to look at this guy or follow this celebrity or do what he said, right? Like, they're choosing to listen, watch. You are an independent artist, creative yourself. Every one of your subscribers, your listeners, do it because of you, right?
Right.
Not because somebody told. That would be nice, right? Hey, listen to this fucking guy. He's awesome. But like, so we just need to be patient. It will turn that way. And then we're going to see real growth as a species. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have not 1 or 5, funnels to get your content, entertainment, any of that shit. You're going to have 5,000, right? Mm-hmm. And you can be individually subscribed to. Beautiful, the direction we're going. We're just in the thick of it right now, I remember when I started the shows 2006, and like a lot of the older people wouldn't want to do the show because it wasn't radio. And now to think that it's like totally opposite, because like, who would someone rather be on a podcast that's worldwide or on, like a radio show out of Newark or, whatever, like, who would want to do that unless it's for like a local event, But back then it was like, oh, if it's not terrestrial radio, I don't want to, do this. But that's like, and if I don't know, probably most people don't even know what terrestrial radio even means right now when I mention. Most people aren't even terrestrial anymore. That's why.
But and you were talking about TikTok, and I know people always tell me to get on TikTok, and I always think it's the crate challenge and cats and stuff, but you're talking about putting up all kinds of content.
I have been on that platform since it was Musically, right? Years I've been on there, and then I'm kind of paying attention to like what the rest of the world sees, not following, but just tuning in every now and then of like, what are they saying compared to like what's actually happening, right? And 2019 started, and then COVID hits, right? And what was 2020? The year of TikTok blows up, right? And breaks out. Okay, I had already been consistently putting content on there and then we shot, and then boom, that kind of blew. And then I saw the power of it, of immediate community, able to connect to all my other platforms and things like that. Yeah. And then this year, this year became like an entertainment space, like TV, right? Like everybody learning, like, oh, I can juggle, I can do this, something creative.
I'm with you. I can't watch another dance video, man. Like,
you guys aren't, but no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just didn't know there was other things on there. So yeah,
explaining to you what's happening on TikTok.
I know, but that's the first thing that normally pops up, no matter who was just like, oh, so you just get it, and then you have to go, you're not using it the way it should be used.
There is no should, is my point. And now what's happening right now on the platform is a lot of people have already realized this and now are trying to share this knowledge with everybody else on TikTok is, and this goes to my theory since when I started this all, is that we don't need celebrities, bro. We don't need celebrities. Every single human being is really entertaining and engaged. Like when you sit and talk to other human beings, that's entertaining and engaging.
Mhm.
Like, and TikTok now is morphing into that and is proof of that. And now you have people saying, stop trying to make content. Just talk to it. Just be yourself, because that's what's connecting. That's what will make somebody sit and watch your thing instead of swipe it right now. So the ability to skip something has never been faster. That when we see something that's cookie cutter, you know what I mean? Even if it's very well post-produced or whatever, we've seen it 1,000 times. You know what I haven't? Quentin Tarantino. What has he been saying for 30 years in every Q&A? I want to see your story, your film, the story this is what he's talking about. No two human beings can tell the same story. It's impossible when it comes from inside out, from their truth. So that's the, like, trust me, next year, TikTok's going to look completely different. This is my prediction of it, because more people are going to realize, oh, I don't need to see a therapist. I can just speak to my phone and I get positive encouragement. Like the communities on TikTok are fantastic. It's so positively reinforced.
I'm gonna look into TikTok, put something about the show. I
have no status, whatever. It's just I
have a TikTok video. I did the crate challenge, but what I did was I just put a bunch of them in one straight row and walked just across it.
See, I don't even know.
But people took it serious. I thought it was fun.
People got some really hurt doing that shit though.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to put them up in a triangle and climb it.
I've seen it.
So I just put them in a straight line and walked across it.
But I don't think they like what I have to say on TikTok. So
but if people watch it, I don't know. It's interesting. So where can people follow Butterflies and yourselves to see, the progression and where it'll eventually be able to be seen?
So Instagram is doing we're pretty good on there, at the Butterflies movie. And then if you look at the hashtag Butterflies movie on TikTok, you'll see how the whole thing was made, essentially videos from everyday filming, different stuff. So that's kind of cool, I think. And then RynoRyder, youtube.com/RynoRyder, RynoRyder, is where you can see the table reading before we shot.
Yeah,
you can see
Tom orchestrates that too.
Yeah, Tom narrated it. I live streamed for hours from my laptop from behind the set, so you could sit and watch for hours of us just working.
And we have people from Florida.
All the trailers are there. Those spaces.
Now on your Instagram page.
your channel, your this broadcast. Anywhere else, man? Yeah.
Very cool. Well, and the one I saw is that's the final version of the movie that you're gonna go to festivals.
That's what it is right now. Yeah, that's what we'll be screening unless any major changes. But I think we're pretty nailed into it, dialed in.
Very cool. Well, it was cool to talk to both of you, and I look forward to seeing more stuff in the future. It'd be cool to have you guys back at some point.
Absolutely, absolutely, anytime.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, definitely. It was great meeting you, and it was really interesting talk with you. And it's funny, a lot of the notes I took down you just covered before we get to them. So.
It's my special ability. Read your mind.
Yeah, what was your opinion of the movie?
Yeah, give us a quick 30 seconds.
Oh no, I like the movie because it's dialogue driven, which I like, and I also liked that it was uplifting. I assumed it was going to be not that I'm against the movie that isn't, a movie doesn't have to be uplifting to be good, but I like that it was, because you didn't expect it to be. And I also like that everyone was likable. Even some of the people who don't necessarily do likable things, everyone's, relatively likable. And I just thought it was, and it kept me, watching it to see how everything turned out.
It happened, see? That's great. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yeah. And it does feel, even though it's weird because I said it feels realistic, but then you also have people talking right to the camera, which maybe isn't actually realistic. But
Bro, what is real anymore? Hello, I don't even know if you exist. We're not even the same thing.
I
What's
think
happening?
Everybody we talk to, the fourth wall break has come up pretty, and some people love it, and other people, are just like, I can't get past it, or.
No, I think it works because you have it right away. That part almost it feels like it could be a play. I think.
That's exactly what we thought exists. That's why like I said, when we decided to make that decision artistically, we knew it was like, hey, it's gonna technically elevate it. You know what I mean? Like now they got to hit marks specific. You know what I mean? Like dude, that one shot outside after the bedroom thing, and Ryan gets punched, and Ryan comes running out onto the street as a car chase off, and the camera moves as he runs and catches him in the middle of the street, and then he turns around and delivers a line to the camera, and we pull focus on that. A bunch of independent slucks, like guerrilla filmmaking and in a lockdown, right? Pull off this like beautiful, like sweeping, moving, like cinematic shot piece, and pinpoint focus, like it's pretty cool. We did it.
I dug it too. All right, very good. It was very good to talk with you guys, and we'll do it again.
Have a great day. Take care.
Well, bye.